Hello. We are going to do a Halloweeny, you like that word, type of mold today. And I'm doing it in my holographic mold, which is sort of my nemesis. Things either come out really well or they come out horribly, but we're gonna give it a go. I have my resin ready. I'm using Texpert, which is a 1-to-1 resin, clear, low bubbles. So it should be a good resin for this project. It is currently at 31 degrees Celsius, which should be perfect because by the time we get everything going here, it'll probably be 33, 34. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by pouring, let's do my cup first. I'm gonna say that this is probably going to be a half of an ounce of resin. Important to know that because that helps us with how much white to put in. And then I'm going to slowly put some resin in my mold. With these crystal edge molds, you do have to give it a little time for it to seep into all the crystals. We still just want a thin layer of resin, otherwise the white just falls, and I think that's one of my struggles with this mold. Oh, I forgot to tell you what I did to the edges. So I wanted to give the edge a darker appearance, little fancier. So I took Let's Resin black mica powder and I used this paintbrush and I just brushed it around the inside of the mold. And then I made sure I tapped it out to get any of the extra powder out of it. But that's what I did to the edge to make it all black. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create our white. So normally I do probably 4 to 6 drops of CastinCraft opaque white pigment for my regular molds that I do an ounce for. So we're gonna try 3 in this mixture because it's less, and we'll see how it works out. I might need another drop, but we'll see. I don't want to put too much. Oh, that looks perfect. It's a honey consistency, skim milk white type. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, because I love a little shimmery, is my Laura's Art Corner Gold. And it is just a very little bit of resin, so I am really just going to put the tip of this spoon of this powder in there. I like this one because it's not as heavy as mica powder, so it really doesn't interfere with my white. Give it a good mix. Now, the next thing I'm doing is I am going to use alcohol ink, but I'm using a rainbow colored one, and it just has a neat effect. Sometimes it shows up really well, sometimes it doesn't. You do have to use a decent amount of it, and this one is by Marabu. I'm gonna give it a good shake, and for whatever reason, I always end up getting this one everywhere. I think it's the lids. My hands are already starting to be rainbow colored. So I'm not going to do a design, I'm just going to do all over because I do want the effect to be pretty strong. So I want to try to fill in all the spots. Let's see. Oh, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? And this is just a rainbow alcohol ink. All right, the next thing I do, because I'm working with such a small space, I'm not just gonna pour it from my cup, even though I probably could do that because we're gonna make a very small web-like design. So I'm gonna take my white, I'm gonna put it into my piping bag, and this is just an 8-inch piping bag that I got off of Temu. You can also get them off Amazon. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know where I've got half my table with another project, so I'm not sure what all you can see, but I put it in my piping bag. pull my piping bag up out of it. And this is just a quick project. I would even say you could probably do this with kids because it's not too detailed. It's fairly simple. Now I need to cut my little tip off. I want to do a small tip. Holding it upside down. All right. So I've done my small tip. It's coming out of here. We don't want it coming out too fast. All right. So I did my small tip. Let me just get everything out of the way. And now I'm going to do the standard spiral pattern. And I'm going to go out just to the edge of this white portion. All right. Now, for the design, usually when we go all in, we're making a flower. We did an in and out, we're doing petals. Well, I've done this before with a flower when I was teaching a bloom class, and I noticed that it looks more like a web. So we're gonna do that here. So all I do is I'm going to do all out. I'm wondering right now if my white was thick enough because it's really blooming fast, but we will see. All right, and that, I'm trying to decide if we want to put some more lines. I guess we could put some more outs just in between them at the end, just to make it a little more designy. And then that's it for now. I'm going to come back and back it, and I think I'm just going to do black. But I haven't 100% decided yet. I could do an orange or something like that because we do have the black edge to stand out. Anyway, let me give it a little hit with the heat. I'm not going to use alcohol ink to spray it because I did use alcohol ink. I'm not going to use the heat gun because it'll blow the design. So I'm just going to give it a fast little twitch. And the reason why I'm using heat on these, in particular this mold, because when you have crevices and stuff, you tend to get more bubbles. So you do have to take a look for bubbles in this situation. I'm going to give it one more hit, and then I'm not going to touch it or do anything else with it. All right, we are back to see how our spider web came out. I did back it with a resin dye paste. This is just a black one that I got off of Amazon. I didn't want it competing too much with the holographic mold and the design of the spider web. So let's see how it came out. Oh yeah, look at that spider web. Came out really cool. And actually the holographic mold, which I usually am not crazy about, really came out nice. I think I may add a little spider or something. I think that would look really cute. And then just seal it with some sort of spray or coating. All right, well, thank you for joining me.